पे खड़ा होना है अगर अनुभव से सीखेंगे बेहतर। चट्टानों सा विश्वास हमें हम कामयाब एंटरप्रेन्योर। चले संग संग चले संग संग चले संग संग ले मन के संग।
Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. Everybody watching us on YouTube, sabhi ko mera namaskar. Mr. Venkatesh, are you around?
Yes, hi. I'm here.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Deepak ji, there is some, I don't know if you're aware, there is some last minute confusion on the link. So the link that was originally published
Wonderful.
was going for
Yes.
last Sunday's link.
Yeah, I think there
So
is
I don't know how
confusion.
many people will.
So I think my team is resending this link. I think I also logged into some other link and then I had to come to this.
Yeah. So let's give everybody a few.
This will get recorded, and I think so. We will get started, Venkatesh ji. So, in the interest of everyone who is in the Zoom room, plus people who will be there on the YouTube to watch this video. So let's get started. So we would go to distribute this GUPSHUP into basically two parts. One will be where I'll quickly set the context, and then we have Mr. Venkatesh Subramanian who would take this conversation forward in form of a small presentation that we want to share, and maybe about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll get into some discussions where people have some kind of questions if they want to discuss the aspects of generative AI. I think we will look into that. So I think just to get this started, so I think generative AI is now around. Everyone is talking about generative AI. Everyone is referring to AI. So from a very layman's understanding, AI is where the machine is trained to think or maybe reason like a human being, whereas generative AI is more like where the wisdom or the past experience or the large kind of data sets becomes available, and they decide how the new thing could be developed. Like it's like as good as somebody drawing a new painting. So the AI would possibly have the power to reason, power to think like a human being, but a generative AI probably would go a step forward and use uh, the wisdom and the way to this topic. So I think for an entrepreneur, yes, anybody who is into entrepreneurship or who is managing a certain management profile in terms of a startup or small entity, I think AI tools have a great utility, and generative AI definitely adds to this. So I have with me Mr. Venkatesh Madurai Subramaniam. He has been part of our ecosystem for past some time, and he has volunteered to lead this conversation on generative AI. So I thank Venkatesh ji for being able to volunteer for this very interesting topic. And all those who are watching us on YouTube, yes, this is a very interesting topic, and don't forget to press the bell icon and follow our channel so that you can have access to more such interesting conversations as part of our GUPSHUP series. So Mr. Venkatesh, I think, brings around 30 years of vast, solid experience. He spent more than 20 years overseas. He's been using internet for more than possibly 30 years now, and during his very initial stint, he built a online hotel booking platform, and then that's how he had that very initial taste of entrepreneurship. Then he went abroad. After 20 years, he came back, and now he's working on a very interesting concept called Apna Vikas. So Apna Vikas is where the tagline is about the remotest part of the country. Can children get an access to and their competence? So Apna Vikas is using AI, is using technology, is using chatbot, is using a lot of more things to empower children in the remotest part of the country when it comes to their personality development, when it comes to their communication, when it comes to their self-development aspects of it. So a very, very noble cause is what I would say the Apna Vikas is doing. So now I think coming to the next, like, what are we going to discuss today? So we basically Venkatesh ji has been using various AI and generative AI models for past more than a year now, and he had he had himself experienced how this could be so powerful when it comes to using the right kind of tools in the right way to make to make life easy for an entrepreneur. So I'm sure we all are used to using ChatGPT, Meta, Copilot. I mean, somewhere or the other, we would have used them, we would have heard about them, and how can we use them as an entrepreneur is what we are going to discuss today. So possibly it's not just about using as a user. So that's something which probably everyone will do it. Everyone is using ChatGPT, everyone is using Copilot. But as an entrepreneur, our experience of using generative AI for one of the very common things that probably every entrepreneur would want to use it. And I think, and then the last part of conversation would be where if you have a AI developer, what to communicate to the AI developer so that they understand you are, what you're looking at, and you can get the right kind of solution. So with this, I think I would want to invite Mr. Venkatesh Subramanian to address this GUPSHUP and really
Deepak ji, hello.
Deepak, you're
Okay,
not audible, Deepak.
yeah, I think he's got a bad connection or something today.
Hello, Deepak.
Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, Venkatesh, you are very much audible. Hello, Deepak. Yeah, I think he has some issue at his end.
I think today his connection is really bad. So let's get started. Or should we wait for him? What do you say?
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now, Deepak.
Yeah, I think today I have a bad connection. I'm hello.
Ji, boliye, boliye, we can hear you.
Okay. So let me wait a second. Hello. Am
Yes, you
I
are audible now.
audible now?
Yes, yes.
Better?
हाँ
Okay.
सर
So
बोलिए.
I'm so sorry. I think today yeah. So I'm so sorry today. My network connection
let me start, if that's okay with all of you.
Yes, sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm starting. So where's the share button? Right here, and this is my presentation. So yeah, Deepak ji was right. When I had the first time I started the using the internet was in 1993, much before it was publicly available, and used a very unofficial access into the internet. It's a long story for another day, and then set up an online hotel reservation booking system for about 124 hotels in India in 1998 as an entrepreneur, and then worked outside India for about 8 years, 20 years with one single travel technology organization, all in software development roles. So that is my kind of a background in a nutshell. And I'm not an IT engineer by basic education. Like I'm not a BTech or a or anything like that. Just got into IT because of a certain series of events in life and started my career in IT as an entrepreneur. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to look at, like Deepak ji said, generative AI, but with a twist, with the ability to use it as an entrepreneur. What we do in Apna Vikas, so that you guys understand the background, like Deepak ji said, in Apna Vikas, it's more than just children. We are targeting all segments of the market, working professionals, undergraduates, postgraduates, multilingual, where we help them in their soft skill and behavior skills. What we will be doing for students in rural areas is we'll be giving them an AI tutor. So instead of a teacher, a physical teacher, there'll be an AI tutor which will help them in Hindi based on their school curriculum. So that's coming up early next year in January. So Apna, because when we first introduced AI as an experiment, because last year we got challenged by Microsoft saying why we aren't using AI in our startup. And the moment we used it, what we did was we put a little chatbot based on our product inside WhatsApp, similar to what you have in Meta today, the blue circle. We did something inside a chat window. So anything you type, it goes to a backend that talks to the chat mechanism and replies. So when we put that in WhatsApp and we told all our immediate contacts, immediately overnight we had something like 485 users overnight with just one LinkedIn post. Because a lot of people were also curious. Now the point I'm trying to make is, if I had to reach all these 485 people and tell them that I want to help you in this way, or I want to do this with you through my product, it would have taken an enormous amount of time and energy. The same thing with a little chatbot that is available 24/7. 485 people used it overnight in one single shot, right? So that's one of the powers of generative AI. What I also did was, in July this year, I was on live television, Republic TV, where we launched our startup Apna Vikas, and got tons of feedback. This was a motivational talk that I gave on live TV for about 15 minutes on Republic. The title of the talk, by the way, is Vikram and Betal in the 21st century. So if you go to my LinkedIn or somewhere, you'll find it. So that's why we launched, and currently we are working on version 2. So that's a quick background. And the reason I'm saying this also is we have been very actively working on AI and generative AI specifically since August of last year. And we've done multiple pilots with multiple technologies. And what is coming to you today is about 1.5 years of that hands-on research. So what we're going to today is very simple. We are going to talk about generative AI, especially for non-techies, and you'll see how simple it is. So you can, after today's session, you can even take the first step by engaging with even a junior software developer. Okay, so you would see how simple it is. And of course, there are no stupid questions. My answers could be stupid. So I'm going to take a quick pause here before I move forward and see if any of you have any questions or anything that is burning that can't wait till I do more. till I move forward? Any quick questions, burning questions, comments? No? I hope I'm audible, right? I'm not talking to myself.
No, you are audible, sir. Not, not worry.
Acha,
So
theek hai, good,
you are
good.
audible. And then, so exactly the AI for the under which sector are you going to teach for us? And then, how is it any specific domain, or is there any general purpose, or the awareness campaign? What is the object of this?
So good, very good. Thank you for this question. So the purpose is going to be to show you how you can use generative AI. The example I will give you is how I use it as a startup founder. Okay. So as a startup founder, I have to fill in a bunch of forms here and there. And many times what happens is every person who is asking for a pitch, they will have their own format. They will say, give me this in 200 characters, give me this and that. For example, problem and solution together. For example, market size in this format. Whatever. Every place I apply to, they ask information in different ways. So I use my own little chatbot to help me there, and you'll see how I use that. So that is one example I'll show you, and based on that, you can easily visualize how you can apply this in your own business, whether it's for your internal consumption or whether it is to deliver your solutions to your customers. You can decide how you want to implement it. Did I answer your question, Muralidhar?
Yeah, great. We can go ahead further.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me continue. There's nobody else, then we can come back to Q&A later. So here we go. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Why is generative AI? So AI is not new, right? We all know that it's been around for a very long time. Now, what I would like to think of you in when it comes to your internal business or even providing solutions to your customers, think of generative AI as a dumb, and I'm using this word with full responsibility, as a dumb agent or a librarian who's got a lot of books in her library, tons and tons and millions of books. But the advantage of this librarian is that she knows every single book and every single detail in the book and every single location of every book in her library. And what this librarian can do is, at your command, she can go and retrieve any information from any of these libraries, any of these books in the library, and tune it to your context, you being the startup founder, either for yourself or for your customers. So otherwise, this AI librarian is very dumb. She only knows what has been told to her. She can't invent things, right? But that's the power of generative AI, where it can go and look at tons of information, even just limit to information that is your own. For example, you could have your own little library and tell generative AI to just focus on that, for example. Okay. So you know this already, I guess, most of you. Twitter took 60 months to reach 100 million users. ChatGPT took just 2 months to reach 100 million users. So that's pretty impressive. It has been the fastest rate of adoption when we compare it to the adoption of smartphones, etc. I'm sure most of you who do anything in tech, you know this. API is when two systems communicate to each other. The example I gave is WhatsApp earlier, for example, what we initially launched last year in November to test. What happened on that WhatsApp is a user types a message on the WhatsApp. WhatsApp goes send it goes the message goes to the Meta WhatsApp servers, which then gets routed to my server's backend, where I have the logic running to do all the AI stuff, and then the message goes all the way back. So what's happening in between all these servers are API calls. Very simple. So API calls is just where multiple things in the back end, in the back, not in the front of your computer or your phone, are talking to each other. API is as simple as that. Uh, LLM is a large language model, like what I mentioned about the spreadsheet. The advantage of LLM is that it's able to construct phrases, sentences that make sense as if a human being was communicating them. That's why ChatGPT and they're very brilliant because they have that construct of the language, the logic of the language inside them. So we talk about billions and billions of parameters. So GPT-4o, one of the latest ones from OpenAI, consider that it's got about 1.75 billion rows of information in one single column in Excel spreadsheet. So that's a kind of information that GPT already has that you can leverage, the books in the library that I was talking about. So what is GPT? We keep saying chat GPT. It's a generative pre-trained transformer. So transformer basically transforms data into something that a LLM can easily use and put it into a language for the user to understand in simple terms. That's the definition of a GPT. Now, I don't know if I should do this. How Chat GPT works. For example, I can say, give me an elevator pitch for a startup that is doing something on fintech. So it gives me a very standard whatever elevator pitch. Nothing great, right? Not rocket science. So that's what ChatGPT does. Now, what I would like you to visualize is something like this happening within your own digital platform. What do I mean by a digital platform is your digital platform can be any any platform facing the end user, your end user, which could be your own team members or your customer or whatever, that can be programmably delivered. For example, a web page where you can have a web application, you can have WhatsApp, then like what we did last year, where you use APIs and you put your chatbot in WhatsApp, similarly on Facebook Messenger, on Google Hangout, and a bunch of other places. Sorry, so visualize this kind of a chat interface that is working in your digital platform, and APIs will make that happen. Okay. So before you go to a developer, what you could do is going to the developer is the simplest thing you can do. To tell the developer what you need to be done for your website or your WhatsApp bot or whatever. Before you go to a developer, please go to platform.openai.com, which is the company behind ChatGPT. And I would recommend that you start with OpenAI because in these 1.5 years of testing and experimentation that we've done, what we've noticed is that the ability of ChatGPT or GPT rather, OpenAI, to put things into a conversational context and keep it relevant to my own data that I will give it or my own instructions that I'll give it. And always keeping in mind the user's context, the user's chain of conversations, and the quality of replies, we found that OpenAI beats the other companies hollow currently, like the Googles and the Metas and the Copilot and whatever. It's really much better. So I would recommend you start with this. You can always switch to something else later on. And another advantage with OpenAI is that to get it to work on your own data is fairly simple, very simple. So what I recommend that you do is you sign up at platform.openai.com. You put in a $5 or something initially. I'll show you how you can use your own files and use the playground. So they have a playground where you can play and see how your version or your adaptation of the chatbot works. And once you've done all this, once you're satisfied with what you're doing and the results that OpenAI is giving you, then go to a developer and tell him or her, even a junior developer in a tech school should be able to do this for you. Tell them to just integrate the OpenAI APIs into your digital platform. As simple as that. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to give you a demo of how I use ChatGPT or GPT rather. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So remember that what I told you not to go to chatgpt.com, go to Playground, the platform.openai, and once you signed up on that, you'll get access to this something called the Playground. Now, whatever you do on chatgpt.com, remember that OpenAI can use that data for their own training purposes. So it's not confidential. Please remember that. Anything you do on chatgpt.com, unless you pay for it and you set a system setting somewhere saying
Yeah.
that,
think,
saying that,
Mr. Venkatesh, just to, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but then I think you'll have to change the screen that you're sharing.
oh, what, okay, wait 1 second.
So the screen that was visible was still your presentation. Yeah, I think now it's better. Thank you.
Okay, so what was the screen you saw last, Deepak ji?
On your presentation.
Okay, so once you go to platform.openai.com, you will sign up and you'll get access to this Playground and put in $5, more than enough for your initial experimentation. So what I was saying is, if you use chatgpt.com, any data that you use, especially if you're using it for free, OpenAI will reuse that, may reuse that. So if you put in confidential data there and you don't have the right setting, it's gone to OpenAI. But here, when you use the API, when you use the Playground, whatever you do is in your own space, and OpenAI has put in a document that they will not use this. Now, here is where the magic starts happening. For example, this system message, think of it as a set of instructions that stay the same throughout the chat. I'll show you an example of this right now. Your end user will not see the system message. This system message is your kind of a guideline to GPT, to OpenAI, saying that this is what you should always do, whatever the user asks. So this is called a system prompt. Many AI people call it prompt engineering. I think engineering is an overrated term. It is just used to scare the people who are not technical. So it's not really engineering. It's basically a structured way to put in the system message. When I show you the example, it'll be clearer. And let's ignore all this for now. I'll come back to this later if I don't remind me. And this is where the user types in the message and they get a reply back from the chatbot. So whatever you see here, just imagine that this part is what is appearing on your digital platform, your web browser or your WhatsApp or whatever. What I use GPT for, one of the examples, I won't show you my business case because that is my IP, but what I'll show you is something called assistance. It's a very powerful feature in addition to the chat. So here what I do is there is something called file search, right? So ignore this, I'll come to this in a second. So first I'll go and I will upload whatever files I want, whatever files I want into this. So for example, if I show you the files that are already in here, it's got a bunch of files that I've already added into it, right? Financial doc, some other documentation, etc. So what I've done here is I've given the machine a lot of Word documents and PDF documents that are very, very relevant to my startup, Apna Vikas. So it includes documents like market research, Indian market, international market, my own financial projections, my background, my team's background, everything that I could possibly put in the maximum amount of detail using any kind of an English, very simple ones, preferably, not very complicated words, blah, 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 but something simple and easy to understand. So I created my own small little library that's got my entire stuff on my startup. And if you see the system prompt here, it is very simple. I hope you are able to read this. I'll read it out. You are a helpful assistant who will use the attachments to help the user. If the answer is not contained in the file, just tell the user, sorry, I don't know everything. I'm just in here. I'm not God. Format the structure of your responses so that they can go into a pitch deck for potential investors. When replying, please add done in a new line. Yeah, that's it. So for example, if I ask a question here, let's say that I'm filling up a form for a pitch or something where I need a problem statement in, I don't know, let's say 100 words. So I can say, give me a problem statement of Apna Vikas in 100 words that I can use to impress someone, impress an investor, for example. And there you go. So what I will do is when I'm filling up forms, I ask questions like this. I say, give me this from my data in so many characters or so many words or etc., and I will read it, edit it if needed. Most of the time, I end up editing one or two small things here and there, and just copy paste. That's it. So it saves me so much amount of time, and I know that I will not forget any important thing. For example, let's say, give me an elevator pitch that I can read out in 10 seconds. Okay, so let's see what it does. I've never done this before, but it's a good test. That's it, boom. So I will read this a few times and say, yeah, it has covered everything. No, it has not covered everything. And I'll add whatever I want to add and I'm done, right? Now, if let's look at a couple of the other things I showed you. When you use the API, what happens is there are a bunch of parameters. I would recommend that you start with GPT 4.0 and ignore the O1 and the rest. Start with this, and once you're happy, then you can experiment with others. Keep the temperature initially to point 2, and once you're happy with the results, then you can play with an increased temperature settings. Max tokens is the number of how detailed the response should be coming back to you from the GPT system. And ignore these. You can play around with these at leisure. But these are the most important ones. These don't really make much of a difference. The stop sequences, etc. That's for more complicated scenarios. So this is what I wanted to share with you as a quick demo. I know it's a lot to digest in a couple of minutes, but we actually started a bit late, and I wanted to give you a taste of the possibilities. Now, something that I won't cover in a lot more detail, but I'm just going to show you where the true power really lies. Oops. So the true power lies in something what is called as a real fine tuning. So what you saw earlier, where I just had some files attached and querying those files basically, there's something else called fine tuning on OpenAI, which is very, very, very powerful, much more powerful than what you saw. Basically, what you need to do in that is generate an Excel file, for example, in phase one, a question and an answer, a question and an answer, a question and an answer, a typical question and a typical answer based on either the data that you have uploaded or the guideline that you're given to OpenAI uh, in the system prompt that I showed you earlier. But this is a much more complicated thing to do later on, and I wouldn't recommend that you start with it now. So initially, I would say try to use it the way I'm using it, the way I demoed it rather, and then work your way forward and go to the more advanced system prompts, and then eventually fine tuning. In Apnavikas, by the way, we use the fine tuning a lot based on our own techniques. We have built a couple of other layers on top of Microsoft Azure, and we are partnering with Microsoft right now, by the way, to take it to corporates worldwide for the corporate employees. Okay, so 15 minutes left, more or less. Maybe we can extend Deepak ji. I don't know, because we started late, in case there are more questions. So questions, guys, anything you want to share, ask, comment, feel free.
Yeah, I think we'll open up for Q&A. So I was just trying in the meanwhile. I was just the the same question that you posted in the playground, I was just trying to post it on the chat GPT. So I think the moment we compare this, everyone will have this idea that okay, the chat GPT goes to a worldwide library, fetches whatever is available and gets to the best result. Whereas what demonstration Venkatesh ji gave was more specific to your own library where you uploaded your own documents, and from those documents there was a 10-second elevator pitch made. So when I gave this to an chat GPT to create a 10-second elevator pitch for Apna Vikas startup, I got something like this. I'll just
Can't hear you, Deepak ji.
read out for you. Apna Vikas, am I not audible?
You're back now. We had lost you for a second, I think.
Yeah, just a second. I'll just show you directly what I was trying to say. So, yeah. So, I hope my screen is visible.
It's loading here. Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah. So this was the response I got from the Chat GPT. So this is from an open library, the worldwide library, and what Venkatesh ji gave you was from his personalized library. So I think this really clear. The moment we see these two examples, we know exactly what we are trying to say. So I think that's what is this Chat GPT versus this playground. What I think Venkatesh ji has given us a nice demo. So I hope this will bring some clarity that what is the difference between the two, and you can play around in the chat GPT, but the point is it's an open library where it fetches information from whatever is publicly available. So this response was based on what is publicly available in terms of websites and documents, but the response in the playground was very specific. There were numbers that were more based on the specific documents which were uploaded by Venkatesh in his playground. So I just wanted to bring this clarity for everyone in terms of comparing
Yeah.
that. That's the same response we can get from the chat GPT also, and the same thing we can do it in the playground also.
Deepak ji, just to add, one can slice and dice this in multiple ways. One can say if the information is not in my attached documents, then use your larger library.
Yes,
One
yes.
can do that also, by the way. So the only limit is your imagination. What I showed happening with documents, for example, with my own documents to fill in whatever pitch applications, I can do the same thing with a huge bunch of documents that acts like a customer service agent, right? So the only limit is
Yes.
your imagination.
Yes. So I think we have one question, Venkatesh ji. This is from Mr. Ajit Vahadane, and I think he has a photo, video, and audio greeting generating mobile app. So he's trying to know how generative AI can be used in this kind of a application.
Yeah, I would like to understand a lot more on the app, Ajit, but very simple. So what the playground I showed you is for generating text. Okay. Uh, for photos, you have a similar API from OpenAI called DAL-E. I'll put it in the chat. Uh, DAL-E is the API for images. And you have DALI is one of the options. DALI some people don't like, but if you Google, you'll see plenty of other libraries that can generate images. OpenAI has come out very recently with something called Soro or some Sora for videos. Again, for video, you'll get a lot more options online. Uh, they have uh, they have similar stuff for audio. So you have all these libraries that exist out there for audio, video, and images. You need to see which one works best for your use cases, which one is able to make the proper responses. I picked chat gpt or gpt rather gpt because for text, because when it comes to text responses based on a context, in my experience GPT-4 rules over the others. In terms of images and audio, I don't know. I have a bias on DALI, but I hear from some of my peers and friends saying that there are much better libraries out there. So you need to try and test. I don't know.
Yes, I think. Thank you for that. So, Venkatesh, please share your email ID in the chat box. People who want to connect to you directly and then discuss in detail. So that could definitely be done. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah,
Hello, my
Shankar.
name is Sankalp Jan. Yeah. I have just one question from the sir. Sir, you told you have done multiple pilot testing.
Hanji.
Yeah. So you told me that you have done multiple pilot testing. We are launching our product as well for the retail automation using the AI module. So how can we do for how should we approach the pilot testing program for the retail automation stuff? Talking to the retailers or
Is it
stuff like that.
is it possible for you to share a little bit more, or right now, or is it too confidential?
It's kind of confidential, but I will
Okay.
say, sir, I can just give you a brief about it. So we are a platform as a service company which is providing retail automation so that customers and retailers can have a seamless user experience in
Yeah.
terms of supermarket.
Yeah, I mean, it's no rocket science, right? I mean, the more real people, by real people, I mean your real target audience uses the actual product, the more feedback you get. So that's what we've been doing. So what we've been doing in our pilots is we've gone to multiple different groups of people, including people in a small village near Maharashtra, students from Ladakh, Leh Ladakh, all over the place, corporates, employees, senior employees, junior employees. So we got feedback from all of them. So we try to do as many pilots as possible, A, to validate that our AI approach is making sense to the people we are targeting, and B, then eventually get feedback on like what we did after our launch on TV. A lot of people came and they gave us feedback that we hadn't even thought of. So the more real people use, the more real feedback you get. I mean, it's as simple as that, isn't it? I don't know.
Yes, sir. And my real question was that how should we approach the targeted customers, and how should we record the feedbacks? Should it be a Google form or some website kind of landing page kind of thing?
When you're using AI, is it?
Basically, for our product. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but these days, negative feedback is very easily seen on social media. That's what people do. But what you can do is you can I don't know, this is a big topic. What I would do in something like this is right in the AI itself, ask people for a thumbs up or thumbs down when they are doing something. For example, they've added something to a shopping cart, they are not purchasing after a certain timeout, prompt the user with a pop-up or something coming up. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough of what you're doing to really comment, Sankalp. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir. So we can discuss in later. I have sent you the connection request in LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
ठीक है.
Okay, so I'll request if we have more questions or more comments or suggestions from people in the Zoom room. Anybody would want to share about their experience of using generative AI in any way. For example, my experience has been I haven't used the playground what Venkatesh said, but yes, ChatGPT is something that I think a lot of us have been using it for a lot of things like refining certain documents, creating some kind of document here and there. So I think that's something which is a very, very common use that we all are doing. But I
Yeah,
think this was very interesting. Yeah.
दीपक जी, just sorry to interrupt. A quick idea for you. मेरे को ऐसे ही बातों बातों में when you're talking, something just struck me. You know, you have I don't know how many startups in your database and the solutions that they offer and what they do, right? You dump all that into a file system or some vector file store like what I showed on ChatGPT,
Mm.
and then the information is at your fingertips.
Yes,
Somebody wants something. They say, I am looking for a startup that does this. The information
yes,
is
yes.
attack.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
You
I
know?
think that's something which is the only thing is probably what you said is this this information would then be used by the OpenAI as well. So this will not remain confidential. But I think probably may not be the phone numbers and email IDs, but definitely the brief summary of the startups and the problems and the solutioning part we can upload. We would have probably database about thousands of startups right now in the country. So we
Yeah,
can
no,
definitely
I mean,
do that. Yeah.
when you use the API, Deepak ji, and the playground, and the playground uses the API basically. So when you use the API, OpenAI has put in legal documents saying that they do not use your data. Okay, so that data is confidential and it stays with you only.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think this could be a great way to really help the community, because we keep getting and we keep doing this right now, but maybe using something like Playground would definitely take this to the next level, where uh, think it's not just a keyword search, but it would be much more than just a keyword search, which this probably this tool would do. So I think a great suggestion. Yes, I think I was curious about this as well, and I'm sure we would want to use this and see how this really can be more beneficial. Where we keep getting a lot of startups where they are trying to solve something where we already had a bunch of startups who attempted this in the past, and that their experience would definitely be of much
Yeah.
use to them. So that is a very, very powerful collaborative spirit that we would want to support startups with. So I think yes, we would definitely would want to do that, and if required, we'll have your help also on this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there are also ways to expose that in on your website or somewhere else,
Yes,
So
yes,
and
yes, yes.
expose
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
without the contact details or with the contact details. You can slice and dice it in so many ways. It
Yes,
can be
yes.
quite
I
interesting.
think I think that will be interesting for the entire community. So I think we'll definitely play around with this for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think others in the Zoom room, Rachit, if you have something, Dr. Sahu, Laksh, Mr. Kamble, Bhagesh, Ritesh. Yeah, Rachit, over to you.
So, I was just asking, sir, like, as we have seen in ChatGPT, there is a new like feature of like voice model. Like, you can directly talk to the AI. So, do you think in chatbots that could be the next step, like after texting? Would that be something new or helpful?
Yeah. In fact, by January, for some of the students, I'm going to be piloting video. It's a video
Mhm.
of a real human being, like one of the teachers or me, for example, answering their questions in Hindi. So video and audio.
Mhm.
So yeah. So by the way, in GPT, what you have to do is there are different APIs for audio, different for image, and different for video. So you will have to figure out how to combine them into one solution for you so that it is seamless for the end user. And the latest model that they've come up with, I think 2 or 3 days back, it's supposed to do a mixed model, but I've not tested it yet. The GPT-O, the recent one. But yeah, I mean, it should go towards voice. If what they claim today is that the mobile app GPT, ChatGPT mobile app can do live translation on the fly. So absolutely, sky's the limit.
Hmm. And sir, another, I had a like, I was curious, like, had an idea like months ago that could like AI be used, like, let's say we have teachers right now. And could that be like, let's say you're in a classroom and you have a teacher, and could AI be used to assist that teacher in teaching?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do as a pilot with one NGO. I mentioned that in the beginning. Rachit, stop calling me sir. You can call me Venkatesh or whatever. Uh, uh, so what we are going to do is with this NGO, the challenge they have is that they don't have enough teachers in all the northeastern and Hindi belt areas. So we are going to give them an AI bot that is based on the school curriculum that will help the teachers and the students and the parents also. It's definitely worth doing, and somebody should be doing it at a larger scale. But we are going to do this for an NGO.